Thank you for joining Humans with a Purpose. Today, I am very excited about my guest. She is a creative soul. She is an artist. She is an Instagram influencer. She is a teacher. She is a philanthropist. She wears many different hats. And I'm excited to introduce you to Shireen Gheba. She is based out of Islamabad, Pakistan. Shireen, you are a woman with many different identities, and I'm so excited to have you on the show to talk about how you found your purpose. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
As I mentioned in my intro, you've got so many different identities. You are a
Yeah.
creative soul. You help so many others. Like your mission in life is to serve. So tell us about you and a little bit about your background.
My background is basically a forces background. My father was in the army, and we have traveled a lot every year or two, even 6 months, sometimes 4 months. So basically, it was inside Pakistan. Until the age of 23, I was with my father or studying in Lahore for my master's in home economics. And then I got married to an Air Force officer. So I was traveling with him. And I just loved, the men in the uniform and traveling to different places, meeting new people. I was basically a born artist. And I was always, being an only child, I always loved reading. And Enid Blyton was one of my favorites. And having an adventure was the biggest thrill of my life. And being an only child, I was very lucky to have very good friends. So in school and in my neighborhood, I was a very friendly person since a childhood. So I was just interested in people. I was interested in what was going on around me.
How would you define purpose? Because this show is all
Yeah,
about
that's a good one.
purpose. And you've mentioned that as a young child, you were very curious, you loved to read, you were great in school, you were studious, you really valued relationships, you
Yes, I
artist,
did.
you're a creative soul. So how do you define purpose? I know many of us question our purpose throughout our lives.
I know, and I think as our life changes and our situation in life changes, our purpose also changes. We have to adjust to that reality. I think it's about being mindful about which direction you are moving in. I think that's purpose.
What do you mean by that?
Being aware, you know, just being aware. Where am I now? Having a reality check and looking within yourself. Like you see, my purpose in life as a 5 year old would be different from the one
Yes.
at 10 years. Then again, different at 15, 23. And at 23, I cannot have a purpose of life which I was having at 15,
Right.
you know? And my circumstances, my situation would be changing. So the purpose, it's a very interesting thing, Alia, that when you mentioned this interview, and I always have a family chat every night with my girls. So I have my two daughters who are in their 30s, my elder two, and I asked them that, look, this is the question I'm going to get. So what do you think? So both of them said, you better answer yourself. And then they started answering. One of them, Natalia, my eldest one, said that, yeah, mom, you what you do is you look at your situation and then you decide what is the best purpose for this situation and then you go
Right.
for it.
Right.
And I
Right.
think she put it so well, which is
Yes.
exactly what I have been doing. And I think everybody does it. Everybody does. It is very nice of you to say as if I am doing something special. We all are doing something special in our lives. And then the second daughter, Nadia, she put the little tarka on it, which we would say the little, you know. She said, "Mom, you try to do that thing by being happy about it and by making everybody happy about it."
Right. So
That's
it's
so
your
true.
energy as the daughter of the armed forces. Your father was in the army and you moved around a lot as a child. And then you married someone who was also part of the army and you became a widow. You became a single mother to three beautiful daughters who are creative souls, just like their mama. They're all doing their own pursuits. And
Yeah.
you also take care of your mom. You took care of your
Yeah, I do.
parents. You lost your husband and then you took care of your parents. And you're what we call a sandwich generation. I'm in that spot too,
Yeah.
where I'm taking care of my
Uh-huh.
kids and also taking care of my parents.
Yeah.
So it's so true. Your purpose changes with your circumstances. And a lot of times people think of purpose as this like one thing, I have to
Hmm.
find my purpose. And what would you say to
Yeah.
that? Like, what would you say to young people who are trying to figure themselves out? And this is a question that's on everyone's minds, right? Because we are in a pandemic right now and everyone is questioning their role in life. Like, what does this all mean? So what advice would you give to somebody? You're an influential role model to so many on Instagram too. What would you say?
Alia, this pandemic, I think, has actually been I don't know how, I mean, the horrible scenario it is. People dying, right, left, and center. It really sounds very bad if I say this, the best thing that's happening right now. But that's what I do. I try to make the best of whatever is happening right now and finding all the good things. For me, the glass is always full. We would never have become so much in retrospect, so much introspection. We're going inwards. And I feel that suddenly, Allah, we look at our lives in January this year, each one of us, we were
Right.
running and we were running in every direction almost at the same time.
Right.
I know my life was like that. I had 10 minutes here, then 15 minutes there, 25 minutes on the way. Okay, 2 hour class over there. Then I'm coming here, meeting so and so, pick up this thing. That's the life we were leading. And where exactly were we going? There was no, I mean, when I sit back, yes, I'm missing my art classes. Yes, I'm missing the people. But isn't this one of the best times to be in this situation? Had it been, let's say, 10 years ago, you and I wouldn't have been talking like this. We wouldn't have been able to see each other. We would have been a different kind of a mess at that time.
Right.
Yes, we are in a bit of a mess at this time because we really cannot grasp it. We don't even know what is there tomorrow. Here we are in a situation where we are going one day at a time. And I'm really inspired by Oprah Winfrey. God, I'm a big fan of Oprah Winfrey. And what she says is, you just have to know what's the next thing to do. We have to know, and it's so true. Today, now, okay, I need 8 hours sleep tonight, you know, and you get up in the morning, okay, I need to have a healthy breakfast. Fine. Then I need to this. Okay, night before,
Right.
yes, I will make some plans, but they are all subject to change. I have been planning publication of my sixth book, and I was hell bent on it. I was
Hmm.
hell bent on it. And when the lockdown happened, in my heart, I was so happy because I felt that, oh God, finally I am going to get the time to do my publication. And then just the first day of the lockdown, I just thought that what kind of a journalist would I be if I don't look out and see what's happening, how things are being done? Is it really a lockdown or is it not? And I go out, and in the rain, in the dark, outside, there are these people huddled under trees in the rain, sitting holding spades, which is a symbol that they need a job or they need
Right.
some work to do. They're handyman, daily wages, and we see them almost daily sitting over there. But at that time, when there is a lockdown, there's not a soul who's going to open their home or their building or their office or call them in to work. And I was thinking that what dinner will they have? What, you know, it just I turned, I was going for a drive, a long drive. I changed my mind. I came back to a little restaurant near my house and I told him, I want some food. When he was going to pack it, I first looked in my wallet. I said, whatever money I have, I'll just spend it. And I had a donation of somebody's with me. So he had given me that. So I said, okay, whatever money I have, just take this and make it, but pack them in separate packets. So then that man was intrigued. He said, why separate packets? I said, make 20 meals for me. So he said, why separately? I said, look, I'm going to give it to these separately to these people. So give it to me in separate packets. He said, okay. He added five of his from his side. And then I took them and my daughter went with me. It was just a random, impulsive thing. Like I was going for a drive. I was just going to see what's happening. And so when this requirement, I mean, just it was a one-off thing. And on the 24th, this is 23rd of March. On the 24th of March, I'm sitting at home and I'm thinking of all those people sitting out on the road. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm thinking of publishing my book. I'm thinking of working on this book. It's a
Right.
dream of my life to work on this book. But can I sit here in my house knowing those people are sitting outside hungry? I can't do it. I just can't do it. So what I did was, Mom and I said, okay, Mommy, I'm going to take some money. So Mommy said, okay, I'll pitch it. So I said, okay, today we'll do half, so we'll have for tomorrow also. So then I went and doubled the amount of food, you know, I got that. Then I spoke to my daughter. She said, I'll pitch it. Next tomorrow's food will be from my side. You know, and then we got so excited. Okay, 3 days covered. And this is how it went on for 63 days
Wow. And
and ended up
you were feeding 300 people every day.
300 to 500 people. Can you
Every
believe
day.
it? It was,
And one thing that I really appreciate about you, you are actively a participant in your endeavors. You have a personal connection with the
oh,
people that you're
yes,
serving.
I've always
And
been
I
like
would
that.
watch your videos on Instagram and you would be following. This is a lockdown. Everyone's scared about getting
Oh, yeah,
coronavirus, but you are
yes,
fearless. You are driving and you are following this truck that's distributing food, handing out
yeah,
packets to all these poor people who are waiting, and you're
yeah,
recording and you're making sure that everyone gets a fair share
yeah,
and everyone's well taken care of. And then you would also eat the same food to make sure that the quality
yes,
was good. And
yeah,
that's how involved you were. You weren't just, dropping things off and not being an active
no,
participant in your philanthropy. You are a part of it. And and I watched all your stories in terms of every day you were out there with 300 to 500 boxes of food. But not only
yeah,
that,
so exciting.
I know, and you have this energy about you, and people just want to donate to you. But then the other thing that I really admire about you is that how you are helping these young women with their dowry. And dowry is such a
Yeah,
part of the Pakistani culture. And
yeah,
unfortunately, many girls can't afford, their parents cannot afford the dowry. But I don't know how many women you've helped with their marriages by collecting basic things like clothing and um, crockery and things for the kitchen, and you're like making them feel special and included. How many women have
yes.
you helped so far? Like you've been doing this project for over a year now.
1 year, a little
Yes.
over a year. Today was the 32nd, 32nd
Wow.
or 33rd?
That's
I think it was 33rd
amazing. That's
today.
amazing. That's amazing. So what I hear from you is that it goes back to what you're saying, right? About being in these different situations. Sometimes you have to
Yeah,
reprioritize your life. We have to be
exactly.
flexible. But also,
Yes.
I think you're a very present person. Like many
Oh, yes.
people live in the past or they worry about the
Mm.
future. But what I'm
Yeah,
hearing
miss
from
out the
you,
present.
yes. So it sounds like you are very present. You're very in tune with today and being in the moment. Is that right?
Oh, yes. Yes, and Alia, I have to do a lot of self-talk and counseling of myself also. Like my kids were very worried about me, and they said, "Mom, you are in the danger zone. don't, if you're just bringing all these people, and our biggest challenge was to give food without letting them get into a crowd. That's why it became a drive. So we drive past them and we don't allow them to make a crowd, to become a crowd. And soon they learn to be, far apart from each other. And then the dowry thing, as you know, we started it last year when two girls, somebody called me and she said, we need some clothes for two girls. They are daughters of a widow who has just become paralyzed, and the children don't have a father, and they lost their father and brother in the earthquake in Muzaffarabad. And those, that broke my heart, sort of thing. And this girl knew the family personally, and she said, I'm going to go, and please ask your followers if we can get, even if the clothes have been worn once or twice, but they are so poor, even those clothes would be useful for them. That touched my heart so much. And I said, okay, one dinner set is from my side. That's something I've always loved, this dinner set you get in the plastic one with 72 pieces in it. And all my life, wherever we have lived, so whenever somebody would come to me, I would say, okay, the dinner set is on me.
That's your home
So
economics background, right?
home economics. And then this girl, you see, the thing is, I have a thing about the dowry word, because with the dowry word they say, oh, it's furniture and the fridge and the this and the that and the other. Sorry, I'm not going to help those people. I'm not going to have a big affluent thing. But here we are talking about basics, rock bottom hard basics. And we are helping a man who's earning 10,000 a month. Today, the person I gave it to, he's earning 25,000 a month, but then he's got 6 children, and this daughter is living with a stepmother, and he didn't want to burden the second wife, so
Right.
she doesn't have to feel, oh, I'm doing this much. So here it is, this girl's what we call a naseeb, you know, in I don't know how you would translate the word naseeb, her destiny.
Destiny,
What's written?
yes. What's
Yeah,
written
it's
for
in her
her? Her
destiny.
fate.
Yes, and I mentioned dresses, and by 2 3 hours, within 2 3 hours, dresses appeared at my gate. Bakhtavar had provided
And
10
this is the
sets,
power of social
10 pieces.
media, right? Because you put the call out on social
Yes,
media and then there's a line in front of you. Everyone wants to help.
yes, and the power of social media, Alia, I have to share the other side of it, because we all have to be very strong in it. We have to be extra strong, because I get a lot of hate mail also. A lot. I mean, not that much. 90%
Right.
is good, 5%. And it's when it's bad, it's really bad, you know. So I have to see, they say, I think it was Dale Carnegie who was sitting with the President of America in his Oval Office one day, and they could see people standing outside with placards of hatred against the president. So he asked the president, I forget who he was in those days, he said, don't you think this upsets you? And he said, they are doing what they think is right for them to do. And I am sitting here and doing what I think is right for me to do. I think that's a very good policy for us to. Yes, listen to the criticism. Ask yourself, how much are they true and correct? Maybe they are correct. Maybe they are saying something which is right. But they are not understanding my point of view. Like, if you are a donor for me from California and you have blindly trusted me with something, you have a right to see where that cash of yours is going. I I will never say that even a single dollar of yours was it couldn't have done you something else. You could have got something definitely better, wonderful. Why did you trust a total stranger to with all your cash? And then you have a right to know where it's going, you know. And I feel that this is the least I can do. And I just want to share the joy of giving with the
It
person who
seems
has
like it
actually
brings you
given
a
the
lot of
thing.
happiness.
Oh
It
God,
sounds like
it's
this is the energy you thrive on.
yes. Honestly, Alia, only today I was so exhausted. I had been, my staff. now you in America won't understand this, but for both of my staff members not to be there, and they have spoiled me hollow. So last 5 days they were not there, and I was aching all over, and I was so exhausted.
And you're taking
And
care
then
of
I
your
had to
elderly
wait.
mom too. I
Yeah,
want to add
you
that.
know.
Yeah.
So, um, and there's a lot of coordination required, so okay, it's this time and so is coming, and I said okay, I like to meet the mother, and I like to hand over the things to the mother, and I asked the daughter to come also. Alia, I can't tell you, just the sight of their faces, the smile on their faces, the relief on the face. And it's not that I'm for me, they are accepting a humble gift. I've done my bit. She must be coming with her own expectations. And I always say, please forgive my shortcomings. Anything is left out. I'm trying to do my best. And this is all I was able to do.
Yes.
So, but that moment, those 5-10 minutes, I'm totally fresh. I feel
Yes.
so happy.
You feel it
And I feel,
re-energized.
oh my God, I just come back bouncing away.
So Shireen, you brought up a very good point, and I do want to spend a minute about this, is this whole idea of validation. And you are an Instagram influencer. So many people follow you. So many young women look up to you. And Instagram is full of beautiful, glamorous women who are constantly sharing
Oh,
about
yes.
their beauty regimens or clothes, and you keep it very real. You are the opposite side of this woman who's seen life, who's been through life, who's a mom, who's an artist, who's doing so many things, and you keep it very real. You show videos of your
Yeah.
mother taking care of her. So how do you how did you find your confidence, and how do you how do you make sure that you keep yourself balanced, because it's very easy to get sucked into the whole
Oh,
likes
yes.
and followers
Oh,
and
yes.
the metrics of social media.
I'm not a number person. I'm an analog person. um, Actually, for me, media, and I've, being having written 25, 30 years back, writing for Dawn was a big thing. Dawn was the topmost newspaper of the country, and one article being published there um, would be read by everybody, like fame and that sort of thing at that time. Now it doesn't mean anything. But at that time, I had it when very few people had it, and to be recognized, to be known, to be, and it was so wonderful. I could keep my face out there, or I could hide if I wanted. So I could be both things. As I've known fame as an artist, I've known fame as a writer. For me, these numbers do not mean anything. They really don't. And I know my daughter, who's got a fantastic following, which everybody thinks hell of a lot of. But I know how she went. For her also, this journey has been. We all don't look at these things in the way others look at it, and I feel that it is very important to be grounded. I feel it's extremely important. It can kill you. It can literally kill you. This kind of fame, this kind of dependence on likes, you've got to realize that it's God who matters. At the end of the journey, we'll be meeting our Maker. At the beginning and the end of each day, which might be the last day, we have to keep ourselves thoroughly grounded and thoroughly reality with a reality check. This is all a, a, a facade. It's an
Temporary.
image. So I, at that time, I made up my mind that I will not let this affect my life. I think my life is very important to me, and it's the only life I have. And this
Yes.
face, or this whatever I have, is the greatest blessing that God, I think, He has given me in every shape and in every form. I'm so grateful to God for all that He has blessed me with, just the way as I am.
Yes.
You know,
But
that's the
did it
biggest
take
thing.
you time to get to this point? Did you
No,
have your
no.
ups and downs?
Um,
Did
of
how
course,
did
I've had ups and downs.
God play a role in your life? Like as you got older,
Oh God.
did God become more of your purpose? Did
Oh
Islam
yes.
become more of a purpose for you?
Islam is just one little link. It's just a way of life. It's Islam is a very down to earth religion basically. It is. It's very very real. It's the best thing about Islam is the moderation. You know, it's such a down to earth middle ground religion. It doesn't expect you to go to some, out and out place and just call God all the time and all that. It wants you to get down and do some work.
It wants
And
you to
in
live
that
with
work,
people. It wants you
yes,
to actively participate in life and not just sit down in a
exactly.
room and become a monk.
Yeah, yeah. And even as I would be giving the food to the people, I would be saying, God, this one's for you. This one's for you. Please accept it.
Yes.
And the beauty of it is that the person who is taking, he knows it's been given because, for God's sake. So it's not
Right. How
my personal
beautiful.
favor to him. He is
Yes.
not indebted to me. He's
Yes.
not indebted to me because he knows that it is God giving it to him through all the sources that has helped me to bring it to this. So, Alia, I just observed that there are just two kinds of people. There are those who are contented with whatever they get, and there are those who are never contented with whatever they get. And these two type of people are at every socio-economic level.
Yes.
And then it's up to you to, you know,
Yes.
help the ones who are contented, those who are not making a big show of things, and who are making the best of whatever they are having. They really deserve it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
There's this level of being satisfied with your share in life, right?
Yes. Yes.
And that can come at from every different, whether you're poor, whether you're rich, whether you're famous, whether you're an ordinary person. And that's a
Right.
spiritual teaching, isn't that right?
Yes.
That's an Islamic.
And yes, it's something so beautiful. I heard this Tariq Jamil say the other day that when a person who is contented with the whatever little bit that Allah gave him, that person was contented with it. And when that person goes with his very small share of good deeds that he had done and to God, then God says, okay, these are enough
Yes.
for you to go to heaven because whatever little I gave you, you were happy with it in the earth
Yes.
on
You're
earth.
grateful. Yeah. Very true.
So beautiful. I really was thinking of my mother because she's been the picture of, greatest thing of happiness is contentment.
Is she the one who's played the most influential role in your life?
In many ways, yes, but many people have played a lot of. I'm indebted to so many people. Yes, she's one of the most persons I admire the most, you know. I'm totally different to my mother. She's the one who's contented, contented, contented. And I have seen how God just blesses her and blesses her and blesses her. You know, she became a widow, and I saw how God was just blessing her. And then she's made of, I think, another material. She's not made of the material we all are made of. I've come to that conclusion.
Yes. How do you want to be remembered at the end of your life? Like, I'm sure you think about death all the time.
Oh yes. Um, I don't know. I think I want to just disappear, and I want them to feel happy when they think of me, and I want them to feel that okay, she spread a lot of happiness. She spread a lot of um, you know goodwill, or and she made life a little easier for those around her, who
Yes.
made life the hardness, the heaviness of life a little lighter for them for the time that they knew me, or even when they think of me later on. This is what I want to, this is why I do my writing. My writing is something, my Sadka Jariya, which I feel that I have.
Satkajariya
Sadka
means
Jariya means something legend, your legend, which you leave behind, that like I am benefiting from Allama Iqbal, all his thoughts and
yes.
all his ideals, and they are making a positive difference and a change in my life. When I'm down and out, I pick up a verse and I read it, and I'm lifted beyond
Allama
imagination
Iqbal is a very famous poet and freedom
of
fighter in
Pakistan.
Pakistan. Yes.
So that's why that became one of my purposes of my life, which is even now, and that is to share what I have learned and benefited from Iqbal's poetry, to share it with the coming generations. And I have made the effort to present it to them in a way that they would be able to like it and appreciate it and understand the ideas, because he was a poet of Pakistan. And can you imagine how one man's ideas can put a country on the map of the world? How crazy is that?
Right. A real
How crazy
visionary.
is it?
Yes.
What a visionary to be able to. I mean, how can poetry bring a country into being? And this man's poetry did it. And his vision is there for centuries to come. He's given,
He's
he,
become like a Seth, his work has become like a Sathkajarya, the word that you mentioned earlier, which
definitely,
is
definitely. And
the
even now, yeah, even now when you hear it, you find the words are so powerful, and you wonder what high intellect. If you read his words in the foreword, God, I mean, what a man, what intellect. And he's talking to people. I think the literacy rate was 10% in the subcontinent, but people took the trouble to convey the 10%, took the trouble to share it with the rest. Are we doing that? Are we sharing information with the others? Whatever treasures we find, are we sharing it with the others? So that's my purpose.
you have definitely achieved your purpose, and your purpose has changed in every situation. And now I believe your purpose is taking care of those around you, whether it's
Yeah,
your home or the people who are outside in your neighborhood.
yes, Alia, in our lives, like our first 20 years, as you were saying, we were the sandwich generation. First 20 years, we spent pleasing our parents and doing what they were wanting, since they foot the bills for all our college education and all.
Yes.
I wanted to be an artist. They didn't let me go to NCA. So first 20 years, you do what parents tell you to do. Then next 20, 30, 40 years, you do what your husband, for your children, for
Yes.
your home. You are working for them. Now the rest of the life is mine. Hello?
Hello, I'm here.
Here I am. I will meet people whom I want to meet. I will
Yes.
do what I want to do. One fine day, I've been doing a job all my life. And one fine morning, I got up. I said, why am I running for a job? A job is a job. At the end of the day, it's a job. I mean, of course, there are parts and you do it what you love to do and all that, but
Yes.
there will
Yes.
be parts you hate, definitely. So I thought, okay, I've been there, done that, everything, and I loved all my jobs, frankly. So now I'm going to do exactly like I want to go and feed somebody, I will do it. If I, how much do I need
You
in
just follow
life?
your heart. You're not
Exactly.
following this anymore. You're doing this. You're following your heart.
Rab, Bulle Shah said, Rab dilla vich rehanda hai.
Yes.
You can
God
break up
lives
the
in your
churches,
heart. Yes, God
God
lives in
lives
your
in your
heart.
heart. He said you can break up the churches, the synagogues, the mosques, everything, because God doesn't live there. But don't break anybody's heart,
Heart.
because God lives
Yes.
in a human heart.
Yes. Yes. Well,
Yes.
with that beautiful thought, thank you so much, Shireen.
तेरी रजा क्या